folks, and welcome to another episode of Real Amigos. We're back, and we are ready to talk about. Listen, probably, I think we're going to have a lot to say tonight. We're going to have a lot to say, but I think the one thing we can agree on is this is probably one of the best movies of the 1980s. But we'll get to that.
In the intros.
Who are we tonight?
No one even knows who we are yet.
As always, are Phil and Donnie. Phil, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good.
So this is what I need to know. Are you like quenched? Is your thirst quenched right now?
Man, dude, I brought to you by my thirst is quenched by this LaCroix Cerise Limon.
Your thirst is not quenched by that. There's no doubt. Oh my gosh.
We have plenty of
LaCroix. You're my brother, and I'm seriously concerned about your health right now. Do I need to call somebody?
No.
Are you locked in a basement?
No, but it's funny that you bring up basements. Do you find basements scary?
I'm not in a lot of basements in Florida.
I think so.
I tend to drown in them here.
Yeah, I've not been in a lot, but I think they're really freaking scary.
They seem spooky. I know in movies they're always scary.
It seems to be the general consensus from people who do not have basements is the basements are scary.
My son just bought a house that has a basement that I'll probably be staying in, so hopefully they're not spooky.
His wife is one of the people that are so scared of basements.
But basements are just like reverse upstairs, right?
That's called an attic.
Let me tell you what basements. Yeah, that's an attic. Let me tell you what basements are. In the right context, they're just free square footage, baby.
Oh heck yeah, man! Game rooms.
I got a whole sectional couch in my basement.
Yeah,
this is my basement right now. This is my basement. I got a bathroom down there.
Train tracks.
You have a bathroom in your basement?
I got a bathroom in my basement with a toilet and a sink, not a shower.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Though someday we're gonna add a shower. I got a sectional couch down there, 2 like TVs set up with PS4s. I can ship kids to the basement and never talk to them all day long.
Now that might get me to move up north.
Yeah.
Oh man. PS4s though, man. Of all the things, even PS4s. That's very disappointing. Listen, if you don't know where you are, you are listening to
they have no idea at this point.
We are a weekly.
I do. Yeah.
Podcast.
Sorry.
We talk about movies, not basements, not LaCroix. We talk about movies, and that's what we're here to do.
We wouldn't be able to talk about basements and movies if it wasn't for our sponsor,
LaCroix.
They pay me a
fresh for lacrosse, everyone.
I get a tenth of a penny every time I say LaCroix.
You get a tenth of a penny?
Tenth of a penny.
What is that, like a shekel? What is that? A ruble? I don't even know.
I have to say it 1,000 times to get any money. So
yeah, they are our new.
It's not a great sponsorship.
Their their sales are doing about as good as our listens. So we're doing great. So let's before we jump
what are we doing here? Why are we here on this?
We're here to talk about movies. We're gonna get to what some say is the jewel of the 1980s.
Some do
in a few minutes.
Some do.
But before we do, I want to talk about Spider-Man. So as we record this, Spider-Man, this is the week that Spider-Man comes out, Spider-Man Far From Home. And I had an interesting feeling today because I have no interest in really seeing it right now. So I just wanted to kind of get your temperature on it. How
you're not
Spider-Man? Yeah.
That is your guy. Spidey is your dude.
It's just not doing it for me.
Are you serious?
But yeah, is it just me? How do you guys?
Oh no, yeah, it's just you. I wanted to go today.
Yeah,
when it came out,
I have
but
to
I
wait.
couldn't. Or whatever day this is. I don't even know what day this is.
I think it dropped today, didn't it?
Yeah,
the movie did. I don't know about this podcast. This might come out never.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Yes, if I die, you'll never hear this. But yes, it's out this week. So what did you say, Phil? You got to wait for your son to get back?
Yeah, my son's traveling. He's waiting for me, so I'm going to wait for him.
I'm going to watch it with my son. My son's down from Michigan, and I told him, I said, while you're here, we're going to watch it.
Nice. That's actually a great movie to watch. Yeah, with
my wife wants to watch it.
Wow.
She likes the Marvel movies.
Is onto something.
It's
I think
a
Chris is onto
connection.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Chris is onto something. I think Far From Home has the potential to lead the Marvel Cinematic Universe into its downslide.
Decline.
Here's why. Here's what I've been predicting.
Is it because they're sponsored by LaCroix? Is that why?
LaCroix said. LaCroix, as a company that understands downward slides, has predicted. No, I think, Donnie, you track with me here. I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe headed down this multiverse track which Mysterio is going to wind up being a real big part of, is going to take the casual Marvel fan out of the mix.
The run is over, buddy. That's my take.
I just don't think anybody's going to care enough about any of the new characters.
I agree, and I think it starts with this movie. Yeah, I'm excited to see it, but there is a general sense of like, we saw Endgame, and it's like, okay.
They've barely been able to promote this movie because if you haven't seen Endgame, you can't watch any of the promos.
Yeah, so that's true.
The ratings are good. I mean, it's getting good feedback.
Sure. And I don't look. Tom Holland is fantastic. They've done a great job. Homecoming is one of my favorite probably movies like of this genre, maybe ever. I thought it was great. I think I'm not. This is not to speak at all about the quality of it, but honestly, I just kind of feel like. I don't know. This is the first time a Marvel movie has come out, and I'm just kind of like, nah, I'll probably just wait for digital. I honestly
no way. Are you serious?
Yeah, I honestly So my kid. So
that shocked me. Like literally, that is shocking.
So we have a hospital stay coming up in a couple days. So my kids are staying with their aunt and uncle, and typically, movies are my thing with my kids, and so my brother-in-law asked me, he's like, hey, you mind? I was going to take my kids to see Spider-Man. Since your kids are going to be here, do you mind if I take them? And honestly, in that moment, I was like, I don't really have any interest to see it. So absolutely. So my kids are actually.
Who are you?
Today.
Who are you?
I just have no interest right now in seeing it. I know
that's crazy town.
All right, that's enough of that. We are not here to talk about Spider-Man. We are here to talk about what some would say is the only movie that rivals Citizen Kane. But again, until we get there, before we get to the meat,
some actually may.
Some actually say that. Before we get to the meat of that discussion, we do have our fan favorite segment, and by fan I mean me and Phil, and that is Donnie's Top 5. Brought to you by
look, 4
brought to you by
plus 1 5 LaCroix.
Donnie's Top 5 brought to you by LaCroix.
5 LaCroix.
All right. So here we go. You ready? Am I ready? Am I doing this? All right.
Do it.
So let's talk about rules. Rules are what keep the world running smoothly, organized, functional.
Unless you're a Jedi, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Breaking the rules is what gives us great movie plot lines.
Yeah.
I have stolen my theme this week from a website called Sporkle. It is a gaming website. I played a multiple.
Look at you.
I'm giving credit where credit is due. I stole it. And but anyway, I played a multiple choice game on there, and it inspired me to think up some flicks that clearly in the movie now lay down some laws for the characters, which of course they naturally break. And the moment they get the chance. Now, as a reminder, we watch movies for entertainment, right?
Right.
And people playing by the rules, guess what? Not that entertaining.
I don't know. Okay? Captain America pulled it off, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's exceptions to everything, but whatever.
No,
we don't watch
until Cap started breaking the rules that he became.
That is true.
Yeah, then everybody starts loving him because he's dropping,
he digs all the Hydra weapons out. He breaks in, steals the Hydra. It's like, hey, what's this?
Steals a car. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, for example, we don't watch movies about kids sitting in school classes all day long, being quiet and listening.
No.
When you watch a movie about school kids, what do you want? You want spitballs. You want swirlies. You want, you want kids skipping school and getting in trouble. You want them tripping each other in the cafeteria.
Doing drugs in the
doing drugs. Right. Days.
You want Breakfast Club.
Right.
Yeah, Breakfast Club. Exactly.
That's right. So I guess in a way.
You want Wolverines. Red Dawn.
Yes. Aardvark, who I missed.
A bunch of kids sitting around in a classroom. That's called a well, yeah, but it looked that movie would look like
boring.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, boring.
Keep thinking of something though, Phil. All right, so
I can't think of the word.
Brought to you by LaCroix.
What do they call those movies where
this moment of us unable to think of a word? Brought to you by
propaganda
LaCroix.
Film.
Oh, propaganda film.
Yeah, propaganda.
Do you see how much fun these kids are having by sitting around?
You too could have this much fun.
These kids are living it up, obeying the rules.
They're not the bourgeois people you want to be.
LaCroix.
They're the working class you need to be. Stamping out cans.
Oh my gosh. Stamping out cans. All right. So in a sense, I guess it's a way for the kind of the rebellious, sinful side of us, whatever, to live vicariously through the rebels and the outcasts, and of course the ones who end up dead for being morons and not listening to the rules. So with that in mind, here's what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to give you Donnie's top 5 or so movie rules that are just made for breaking.
Yes.
So what this is in essence is in the film itself, a rule or more is stated. And what I want you guys to do, we're going to make this participatory tonight.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
Since we're brought to you by LaCroix.
LaCroix.
We wanted to do this. So
the ingredients labeled on LaCroix are only carbonated water. It says the word only. Only carbonated water, comma, naturally essenced.
That could mean so many gross things. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, gentlemen, is I'm going to give you the movie, and you're going to try to name the rule or rules in the movie.
This.
Oh, wow. All right, let's do it. I like it.
Some of them
are
we
working
easy.
Together, or are we in competition?
You can raise your hand if you want.
We're not raising our hand.
Do that. All right, so here we go.
Out.
Donnie's top 5 or so movie rules just made for breaking.
Okay.
Number 1 movie on here is Gremlins.
Don't feed him after midnight.
All right, that is one of the rules.
Don't let him get wet.
Don't let him get wet. And there's one more rule.
And don't French kiss him.
That is a rule, but is unspoken.
Do you think if they had spilled LaCroix on Mogwai, he would have would that have counted?
I don't know. It's naturally.
Was it any kind of moisture, or was it only water?
Oh my gosh!
So it's don't just after midnight. Oh, don't let him have light. Don't let
right. Okay. So I'm going to read you the quote now. You got him. Keep him out of the light. He hates bright light, especially sunlight. It'll kill him. And keep him away from water. Don't get him wet. But the most important rule you can never forget, no matter how much he cries or how much he begs, never feed him after midnight. Spoken by a Chinese boy.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I have 5 kids. If that rule applied to humans, I would have like 500 kids. They would just be popping off.
I thought you already had 500 kids. I'm confused.
I feel like it sometimes.
So let me ask this question. I forget because I haven't seen Gremlins in a very long time.
Hey, don't worry about it. They're coming out with a prequel animated series. You can check that out.
Gizmo is his name-o.
Gizmo is his name, yes.
And he is a Mogwai. Okay.
Yes. But the little baby ones that pop off and turn into demons, they're not Mogwai.
Spike.
Well, they are.
No, I think they have a different classification.
They're Mogwai. I don't know.
They have.
This isn't Donnie's top 5 classifications of Gremlins.
Listen, Gremlins has an animated
number 2. Movie number 2, Donnie's top 5 is Ghostbusters. Can you give me the
cross
rules?
the streams.
That's correct. Don't cross the streams. It would be bad. That's what Egon Spengler says. In the middle of the banquet room. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Venkman says, good tip. Good to know. Thanks for letting us know that. Number 3. This one's too easy, but no, actually it's not. There's a lot of rules. You only probably know one. Fight Club.
You can't talk about Fight Club.
All right, rule 1. First rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Second rule of Fight Club is
you don't talk about Fight Club.
You do not talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
That's second rule too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was quoting it. Yeah. Yes, that's second
rule. Third rule is if you date Jennifer Aniston, you can be part of Fight Club.
Third rule of Fight Club, someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out, the fight is over. Fourth rule, only 2 guys to a fight. Fifth rule, 1 fight at a time, fellas. Sixth rule, no shirts, no shoes. Seventh rule,
no service.
Seventh rule, fights will go on as long as they have to. And the 8th and final rule, do you guys know this one? You might know this one.
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Nope. You know it. You're going to kick yourselves when I give it to you.
Off.
Nope.
Always drink LaCroix when the fight is done.
Correct. Hydration, key. Here it
is.
You
get really sweaty in that movie.
You're both going to know it. Here it goes. Rule number 8. The 8th and final rule: if this is your first night at Fight Club,
You have to fight.
you have to fight.
Oh
right.
man,
Tyler Durden.
I've
8
never
rules.
seen Fight Club.
Wow. It's a little raunchy, but it's a fantastic treatment of the male condition.
Wow. Number 4, Anchorman. Anchorman.
There's rules in Anchorman.
There's a rule when they're preparing for the Anchorman gang riot war. There's
Never
a
punch in the
rule.
face.
It's close.
Oh, that's
Okay.
Never touch the hair. Never touch
Before
the
we
hair.
start, let's go over the ground rules. No touching of the hair or face, and that's it. Now fight. That's it.
To
Ron
which-
Burgundy.
To which Ben Stiller's character goes,
Of course. Of course.
I love that line.
Rule movie number 5 is again a bunch of them. Zombieland. You guys seen that? Zombieland?
Yeah, I saw Zombieland.
Here they are. Here's the rules. Zombieland. Cardio. Double tap. Beware of bathrooms. Buckle up. Travel light. Don't be a hero. Limber up. When in doubt, always know your way out. The buddy system. Check the back seat. Enjoy the little things. That's it for
Nice. A lot
Zombieland.
of rules.
I don't
And
think
all
they
of
do them
those
all at
rules-
one time. They kind of do it through the
all
movie.
those rules get broken, I think, in that movie.
Yeah, they
that's kinda-
actually show a scene for each rule being broken and that person ending up dead.
That's hilarious.
So it is comedically
they're
presented.
making
Does Woody
sequel to
Harrelson
that.
survive that movie?
Who?
Yeah, because he's in a sequel. Woody Harrelson.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first time I remember. No, maybe not. It's the first time I remember what's her name starring in a movie.
Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
She
kind of
was in
super bad.
Super Bad, but very more briefly.
No, she had a pretty big role in that. She was a girlfriend. Yeah.
She got headbutted by the guy that passed out.
Yeah, I think so. All right, that's number 5. Number whatever is the Shawshank Redemption. Do you know the rule given to that one? To the prisoners by the warden Norton?
Never hope.
Rule number
Yeah,
1. No blasphemy. I'll not have the Lord's name taken in vain in my prison. The other rules you'll figure out as you go along.
That's right. Yeah.
Number 7-ish. Speed. Speed.
Don't go
Yeah,
under 55 miles an hour.
Incorrect, sir. No?
I mean that is the rule.
It's not. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour,
Is it 50?
the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up.
Oh,
If there's another rule, what's the other rule?
Nobody gets off the bus.
No one gets off the bus. If you try to take
Blow
your
it
person
up.
off the bus, I will detonate it. Power
Keanu.
pain.
I need to watch Speed again, man. I haven't seen that in a long time. I love Speed.
It's pretty good.
Keanu Reeves is
Last
great.
last one on Donnie's top 5 or so movie rules just made for breaking is Wedding Crashers.
Never seen it.
Wedding Crashers.
My guess is
Never fall in
never
love.
go home alone.
What? What'd you say?
I said never go home alone.
Oh. Don't commit to a relative unless you're absolutely positive they have a pulse,
Oh, yeah.
have an up-to-date family tree, no excuses, and lastly, play like a champion. That is it, boys. That is Donnie's top 5
That's an
movie
awful Will
rules
Ferrell movie.
Just
Will Ferrell's scene in that
maybe.
movie is
for
terrible.
breaking.
I've never seen it. That's Vince Vaughn though, right? Vince Vaughn and Luke Wilson.
yeah.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Oh,
And that movie is adult.
also adult, not to be watched, not to be endorsed by this movie, unlike this podcast and LaCroix.
LaCroix. I think there's some LaCroix in there. Yeah, there's no doubt.
All right,
That-
folks. Let's get.
That's
to
it, buddy.
Come on, let's get to the main event. We're here to talk about the crown jewel of the 1980s. What some would say the
This movie wasn't the
inspiration
crown
for-
jewel of the day it was released.
Correct.
Some people would say this was the inspiration for Steven Spielberg's career, and that is a movie released in 1986 called "The Flight of the Navigator." So,
I didn't even know this movie was a time travel movie till Chris put
I
it on
didn't
the
either.
list.
I had no idea.
I thought it was
hang
a
on.
space
Okay,
movie.
okay, hang on. Before we get too deep, let's just go over a couple of things because you guys are going to go off on a
Are
trail.
you going to
here.
give us
So,
rules?
no, there's no rules. So let's just talk about. I want to have a civil conversation first. So
Okay.
first
Okay.
off, if you've been following the last few weeks, we have set up a theme for season 2, and that's time travel. And so all of our movies are based on some form of time travel. We kind of discussed time travel movies. It was on a Google Doc that everybody was able to see. This was a movie that I volunteered.
But let's just give the listeners a glimpse behind the scenes. Donnie and I don't put any thought into this show. This is all Chris.
I put thoughts into after I watched the movie.
Oh, no, I know, but like when Chris came up with a list of movies, we were like,
true.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
There were a couple of things that I wanted to do. I wanted to run kind of the breadth of movies and not just have your standard Back to the Future type movies. Listen, guys, in a couple of weeks we're going to be doing a couple of months we're going to be doing a romantic comedy, which is going to be
you know what this
fun.
movie really did for me, Chris? It made me miss Back to the Future a lot.
Right. Well, if this movie's if you're looking for a time travel movie spectrum, this movie is 0.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I would say Endgame is 10.
Oh my gosh.
And Back to the Future would be 11. Okay, so listen.
Sorry, go ahead.
So before we start getting into the details, this is really what I want to know from you. First off, I want to know, when was the first time you saw this, and I want to know your impression of the movie from that time. So if you can remember, so not your impression from last week when you watched it, but just like if you can remember the first time you saw it and if you had any thoughts of it. So Phil, let's start with you.
The first time I saw this movie was July 1st, 2019.
You've never seen this movie?
I had never seen this movie.
Oh my gosh. Donnie, what about you? Have you seen
scenes of it were familiar. I remember like this steering the ship thing.
Yeah, that whole thing.
But no, I had
Save it.
Maybe I saw this movie parts and pieces on the Disney Channel when I was a kid or something.
Yeah, I think it was on there a lot in the late 80s.
But no. Like I said, I didn't realize this was a time travel movie. I'm not even sure it was.
I don't even know what happened.
It absolutely was. What about you?
Just because. Okay.
What?
No, we're talking about when we saw it.
I don't remember. I know I didn't see it in the theater. I think I might have seen it sometime, maybe like Phil, maybe on TV or something. And then I know that my son watched it when we were on vacation, probably, 15 years ago. And I didn't really pay attention to it then. Watching it you
paid attention. I'm certain that you did. That's why you think you didn't.
I watching it this time, it was all new to me, basically. I just knew the spaceship. I knew the kid. I knew the eyeball thing. But that's it. Like I didn't remember any of this.
Do you remember Brent enjoying it, hating it? Like, do you remember?
He didn't really remember watching it.
Yeah, but so you don't remember when he watched it? You don't remember 15 years ago if that was a movie he was like, I like that?
No, he did not remember it enough to like it.
All right,
Chris is like begging somebody to have liked this movie at some point.
Ask your relatives if somebody out there likes this movie.
Let me put it to you this way. I started watching this movie with my kids, and I have a 5, almost 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, and then Gunner, who is 14, but likes things that kids like.
I know where this is going.
And they were outside playing on the porch, and I started it back up because they had to eat their ice cream outside. I was like, go eat those popsicles outside. I started watching the movie while they were outside. Nobody was like, oh, wait for us. And
were they there at the end? That's my question.
What?
Were they there at the end?
They never came back to it. They didn't care. They were like,
perfect. That's perfect.
I hate all of you.
I thought for sure that at least one of them would be like, oh, wait, we want to watch that.
No, they did not.
Okay.
Didn't care.
So I saw this movie on the Disney Channel. The Disney Channel played this movie a lot in the late 80s. And so that was my first introduction to it. And I watched it a lot. Disney Channel was my favorite channel. And when I would stay at my grandmother's house, that was what I would watch. And this movie would probably be on at least once a day.
I believe that.
All weekend long. And I absolutely loved it. So watching back over, and Phil made a comment that I made on last last week's show, which is that it still holds up. And listen,
yeah, you did say that.
I stand by that. And so,
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Define your terms.
So we'll get there. So let me tell you that what happens in Flight of the Navigator is my favorite idea of time travel, which is the displacement of somebody in time while everything kind of goes without them. And so this is my first recollection of this kind of phenomenon of a person being taken out of time and placed back while having the world kind of pass by. And
who did that better? Interstellar.
No, so Interstellar. So here's the thing though about Interstellar is I love Interstellar. That's the part of Interstellar that I love. I would watch a whole movie about the guy who was left on the ship when they go down to the water planet. And they come back, and he was there for, I don't even remember, it's been forever.
18 years or something.
Yeah, like 18
hey,
years,
speaking of water planets, we're brought to you tonight by LaCroix. LaCroix water, sparkling. Carry on.
It actually says cherry lime naturally essenced sparkling water for all your thirst needs.
So
what is your grown-up impression of this film, Christopher?
Man, don't look through it nostalgically.
I know, and there definitely is some nostalgia there. The movie's got some problems. The biggest problem the movie has no plot. There is no
nothing.
The plot of the movie is really the kid getting back home, but it shouldn't be, and it should be more about the ship and what the freak the ship is doing. Because really, if you break it down, the ship is collecting species all over the galaxy, and basically
the movie should have been about the 8-year span that they were traveling around collecting specimens.
Pharon or wherever the crap they went to. Yeah.
Pharon.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So there definitely has a plot issue, but again, I think that it's very much in line with, again, this is not a even an adult movie. I mean, this is made for a younger audience. I mean, it's a Disney movie, but I still think I think it holds up to just the idea of being displaced and coming back and kind of dealing with seeing your parents and kind of what that's like, dealing with a brother who has who was basically the last one to see you, who scared you, and
so you think the concept stands up, but not necessarily the execution.
No, the execution is definitely not there. No,
okay.
but
you could say that about every bad movie ever made.
Sure. But I still think there's there's a lot of there is a lot of good that is just that is easily cast aside because of that.
Listen, let's give Chris the floor to explain a lot of good.
I'm just baffled that out of picking, you had to choose 12 movies basically of all the time travel movies of all time. There's been 100 years worth of films out there.
Sure.
That this popped into your brain as one of the 12.
I'm telling you, it's a movie that stuck with me. I love the concept of the time travel in it. I love the fact that the kid was abducted. He was taken. We were dealing with other galaxies and light years, and we're dealing with the fact that we only use 10 capacity of our brain. And so what they did was they downloaded schematics into the reserve part of his brain, and that's how he became a navigator. The problem is that the movie just doesn't do a good job piecing it all together. A lot of it is just kind of left to conjecture. And because I love the movie so much, I'm down for the conjecture. But if you watch it just alone, you
in all fairness, I didn't hate it, but it is one of the most forgettable movies that I think I've ever seen.
Oh man, see,
it's just I'm not going to remember it in a year. I'll be like, what happened in that movie?
Sure, if I watched it now in 2019, I probably wouldn't think, because of technology and because of we just watched Endgame for Pete's sake. You can't hold a candle to something like that. But dude, in 19, I probably didn't watch it till maybe 88 or 89, whatever it was. It was great. So that's
like Tron. Right.
Yeah, Tron.
Live action Disney.
Tron.
I'd rather watch Tron. It's
terrible.
Not good. It's not a good movie, exactly. But I'd rather watch it.
But in the 1980, whatever it was released, it was dealing with some very advanced ideas.
Yeah.
Basically the internet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'll give you this sense. Okay, Chris. So we'll throw you a bone, right? Speaking of throwing bones, you mentioned in the yearbook episode that you guys were excited to hear about how my dog is doing. So I wanted to show him to you guys.
Yeah.
He's gone. He didn't last a week.
Oh, that makes me laugh.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
He went
clarify,
back.
Clarify. The dog is not dead.
He's alive.
No, he just went back.
The dog
went to a much better home
in a different place.
Okay. I got a full refund, and he is now living. Real quick story. The day before we gave him back, the day before, this family we're friends with, sweet people, very kind, loving, pet people. They've got multiple dogs, things in their house, the animals. They've got this little chinchilla type thing that they carry around. Like, they're just really cool people, but they have a real affinity for pets. They're really sweet people. And they rode their bikes to our house that Monday from across town. It's about a 7-minute car ride. They rode their bicycles to our home, knocked on the door, and they had a gift bag, a welcome home Gus gift bag of like toys and snacks. And
these are the people who sold you the dog?
No. These are just friends of ours.
Oh, these are just people that knew you had a dog.
This was the day after you gave them back.
Told them at church we got a dog, and they're like, and Dennis says, I told her it would be funny if you guys decided to get rid of this dog. And I went, bro, this dog is going home tomorrow. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. You want your stuff back? He's like, don't worry about it. So we gave the stuff to another friend of ours who has dogs, and we're like, you can have it. But Gus was great. We just are realizing that there's a reason we don't have dogs. So he got home.
Yep. I tell my kids ask about dogs probably every couple of months, and we have the same conversation.
We just caved, man. We caved stupidly, and thankfully we knew the person that owned the dog, that sold us the dog, well enough to say, hey, this isn't working out. And she was like, no worries, I'll find another home for him. And he's home. So throwing Chris a bone, I'll say this. So back to the whole Flight Navigator is, yes, I'll give you I traveled light years at multiple plus light speed, and therefore I didn't age. That concept of time travel is right. Yeah, it's fine.
It's relativity, right? And that
it's
is
the theory, right? It's dealing with the theory of relativity. Yeah. But yes, there's no fleshing that out.
This movie is not exciting at all. There's nothing
there is zero.
Very slow.
There's no apex. There's no there's no conflict. There's no conflict in this story at all, where you're like, you don't even get the sense that the scientists are all that bad at people.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, they're very vanilla. Yeah.
They're just like, well, we're interested in where he was.
Yeah, there's no investment in this. You're not like, oh man, what's going to happen to what's his name? Billy or
literally
Bobby
didn't care. I was like, he's probably going to stay in this new timeline. Oh, he didn't. He went back. Okay, great.
Spoiler.
Honestly, I thought the most exciting thing, if they had ended this movie, this is how this movie should have ended.
Ooh. Let's do that as a segment.
And
the way movie should have ended by Phil.
Oh, that's
brought to you by LaCroix.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Carry on.
So I felt like if that kid had said bye to his family, I don't belong here in this time, and then just traveled the galaxy with Max.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
I was all in for that ending. I was all in for that ending.
Would have redeemed the whole movie.
I would have felt so much better.
That's a ballsy ending, at least.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't belong anymore.
He just went home.
And it pays respect back to where we started, which is the fact that he is now the Navigator. He refers to him the entire time as the Navigator. That's his role now. He's no longer the kid. He is the Navigator.
He's the Navigator.
Here's the problem. The problem, though, going back to the idea of not having a plot, is that they wanted to make it his the kid's story, but it's definitely not the kid's story. It's the story of the ship, and that's the greater scope of why are these aliens out scouting and trying to gather information. Yeah. What is the point of that?
We have no idea about. No idea. Do they mean to harm us?
Yeah.
Are we on the brink of galactic warfare?
Yes.
Are we about to have first contact?
I know.
What is going? We have none of that. And I wrote this. I took a note. I said, in all fairness,
a note.
I wrote this. In all fairness, this movie is called Flight (singular) Flight of the Navigator, and that's all this movie was. Yeah. It was the kid gets in the boat in the thing, and he flies around.
Yeah.
He goes up and he goes down and he goes underwater and he flies around, and you got this ridiculous scene where it's like that kind of looked like Texas. Like let's get a map. Jeff, shoot fireworks into the air so I'll know where you are. Like that.
Oh man, that's
what
so
this
bad.
movie was. It was. I said this. It felt like a setup for Disney to build new rides at one of their theme parks. That's
but I don't think they ever did though.
No, they probably did. But I'm just saying, it was like literally that's what it felt like. Like I could have been sitting in a chair and at Disney and it doing this, right? Hey, there's Max, right? And I would be doing this while watching the movie footage, footage, just sort of doing this. Oh man, this new ride is amazing,
spectacular.
Except it wouldn't have been a great ride; it would have sucked.
So again, kind of, pairing off that theme, right? There's also another huge thread that they open and just completely bail on, and the fact that is when Max scans the kid, he becomes emotional.
Yeah, like Max does. Max takes on you. I hated that whole thing. That was stupid.
When Max turned into Pee Wee Herman, voiced by Paul Rubens.
Yeah, man.
I was like, wow, this is awful.
Like
but changed movies.
Yeah, but the idea is that when he scanned him, he like unlocked, like this whole personality that he never had before. Again, we're dealing with a cool concept of a sentient spaceship that had no emotion, and then by scanning this kid now has emotion. So what does that do now? What does Max do when he goes back home to Phelan, and all the other ships are hanging out having a drink, and he's like playing the Beach Boys? Like he's a
is that what we're to understand about this ship? Is it constitutes the race of Phalanites, or did Phalan people send these drones out into the universe?
Well, he calls himself a drone, so we assume he's AI, but he's sentient, and he pretty much acts as a character the entire movie, right?
Yeah.
He opens the door, he talks to people, he's
a terrible character of the whole movie, but he is a character. He's more annoying than C-3PO, if that tells you anything.
I do kind of wish someone would recut this entire movie. With just
cut it. Cut it.
Pee Wee reading the lines.
I wish someone just cut this entire movie. Stop.
I wish the whole movie was Pee Wee Herman reading the lines.
It's not that.
Do you? No.
Well, I think it would be a YouTube sensation.
Yes. The only thing that I liked about this movie, look, Riley. The only thing I liked about this movie really was the design of the ship, because it was kind of unusual and sleek.
Cool.
Pretty cool special effects when the door opened for that time.
Yeah, I mean, you got the T-1000 make an early appearance there in Flight of the Navigator from the Terminator.
That's right. It has the what is it called, the mode when it turns into like a pointy ship? But that was a
level 3, phase 3 mode.
Phase 3 mode. Yeah, we're gonna go fast.
Like, that was a phase 1 move. What's a phase 3? The ship goes long and fast.
How did he know phase 3 was the end?
Dude, it
was in his brain.
So let's go through. I don't want to call them highlights. All right.
Let's do this.
Johnny, this is your favorite part, because you always take these little nut shots. So go ahead.
I think he delivers the nut shots.
Am I taking them or giving them? Okay, let's see. Like clarification.
Did you see that GIF that I sent you today of those guys kicking?
Dude, Yes,
I couldn't get it to download, but I wished I could have seen
dude,
it.
like they line up and they're smacking themselves with a brick in between their legs repeatedly. It is painful.
Dude, I have so much to say about this movie.
All right, let's do it. Let's get it.
Let's get this ball rolling. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. First impression. My first impression when the opening scene is this is terrible. The special effects are so bad. Of course, it's intentional. I get it. They're throwing frisbees, right? These silver frisbees.
Yeah.
Oh my
okay,
God.
that's fine. But here's the thing about that opening scene. This really stood out to me. It's like the most underwhelming display of dogs catching frisbees that I've ever seen. Half of the dogs miss the frisbee. It's like, why are we filming that?
Well, it's a competition. It's a competition. Not all the dogs win.
Why did this make the cut, though? Why is this in the movie? I mean, I can do that in the backyard. Like, hey, man, look. Oh, you missed again.
I think we wanted to believe that there was hope for Buddy. I think was his
Bruiser.
name.
That's my next statement. Why did they bring Bruiser? Did they bring him to rub his lack of skills in his face? What is that?
Hang on. So now I want to speak to the first thing. I feel like they just drove around Florida and saw that there was a dog competition, and they went back. They could just record it.
Bring the camera. Yeah.
No. That's where you're wrong. 80% of this movie is stock footage.
That's probably true.
It's like you're making a movie. Why are you putting scenes of the dogs dropping the frisbees? It's like,
well, and I don't know if you're going to
nothing exciting about that.
If you're going to get to this part talking about this, but you talk about the special
most
effects.
likely.
I don't understand why the blimp flew over. Like,
oh yeah,
I know we were.
Was there a blimp
at the very beginning, right at the dog show? They're all like a giant shadow goes over the dog show.
Yeah,
and you're led to believe that there's like a UFO, but it's just a giant blimp. And
is that what it was? I didn't even understand that. I felt like they cut. I felt like they cut that scene, and you didn't know what it was. But
if you go back and watch it, something weird about the special effects. All the people look like they're not even moving. They're just
they look like they're all frozen. That is a terrible scene. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, they spent their special effects budget on Max's door.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, well, how are we going to get a giant shadow?
So they go home from the dog show, right? And they're in their his station wagon.
By the way, I mean, we all want to punch that young brother in the face.
First note I took on the movie was, dude's little bro's a bully. Just punch the little four-eyed geek.
Yeah, I wrote the brother dynamic is backwards in this movie. The little brother is like bullying the older brother the whole movie. The whole movie. Weird. I mean, it's super weird. It's like he's scaring him in the woods. Like what? He's like 4 years older than this kid.
I actually can justify this. I think this is why. Because if the dynamic was reversed, right, where the older brother is the bully, and the older brother had scared the little brother in the woods, and it was the little brother who got lost. Then when the little brother came back 8 years later and was still the little brother, it would have been easy for him to just stay.
That's true. Yeah, you see that.
You needed the displacement.
Yeah,
you're reading way too much into this movie, man.
Phil's got it. See, it's a much deeper movie than you think.
Okay,
but so that kid's a jerk. I wish
that kid is a punk. That kid needs to be anyway.
The treatment of that character, by the way, 8 years later, after he essentially scared his brother into abduction and eventual death, and he's totally emotionally balanced. He's like, hey,
he seems very well.
What's up, David? It's so cool to see you, man.
What's going on?
It's just like one throwaway line where he's like, man, I felt really bad about scaring you in the woods that day.
That's the extent of his remorse. I felt really bad.
Never mind that my parents would have disowned me and sent me to a boarding school because they wouldn't be able to stand the look of me.
I really felt bad that you disappeared for 8 years, but whatever.
Okay. But I got to be honest with you, growing up as an only child with grieving parents wasn't terrible.
It was so much better without you here. I'm not going to lie.
It's great. I got away with everything. I got away with everything.
So they leave the dog show in their car, and they drop the little brother off. The little brother's like, hey, I want to go hang out with his friends. That scene.
White trash family.
Dude, that scene, what did I write here? Florida. It encapsulates 80s life like nothing I've ever seen. You have name calling. They're calling each other names. You have shirtless kids running around in jean shorts.
Yep.
You have parentless children. Where the heck are they? Firework wielding children, okay, on a slip and slide. That is my life from the 80s, man. Right,
Florida,
Phil?
baby.
I mean, that was it, dude.
Florida in the 80s.
80s Florida was the Wild West.
Oh my gosh.
Infinity for it too.
You're like, hey kid, where are your parents? I don't know. they're somewhere.
That's it.
Then they get home, and what's the kid's name? David? Maybe David. So David gets on his telescope and starts perving out watching a girl that he
Don't
likes.
talk about that. You're getting into my segment.
Am I?
Yeah. Remember why it can't be made.
Why this movie won't be made today.
I have a majorly deep call on that scene.
We'll save it. We'll get to it.
All right, you can have it.
We'll
Don't let me forget, though. I want to give my take on that whole scene.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Let's see. He says the brother, the younger brother, later brother, whatever,
Jeff
says this. Here's what he says. He says, "Mom made me put up flyers every Saturday for years." That's what he says. Wait a minute. So my question is, that seems like a lot of coverage every Saturday for years. What is happening to the flyers that you're putting out? Are you like
take these down?
Is he now in Georgia? Like, are we doing other state coverage by now? I mean, come on.
Every month they probably just update the picture so he looks a little older. They want to mislead anybody.
It just makes no sense at all. Oh my gosh.
Well, this was early on in the milk carton abduction as popular.
This was the Adam Walsh era,
right?
Yeah. I mean, you want to have at least 10 or 12 pictures on the same block. So it was important.
Weird.
Yeah, that's
so. When they come back, does it seem like mom and dad had a pretty rough 8 years? I mean,
gosh,
it seemed like they aged. I mean,
I think that's fair though.
Their kid died. Okay, that's true. They thought their kid was dead. I give them that.
Through like, not only do they think he was dead, he was abducted. He was brutally abducted.
You're gonna fly by him going to the old lady in the old man's house that he thought was his house.
Well, I got a thought about this whole thing before you get to this.
This totally takes over that house. Like, I'm coming in.
And they're like, what is it, son?
Hey, son, what's going on in your life right now?
If you were an old man reading the paper in your den, and some 12-year-old strolled in violently screaming at you, would you not be like, who are you? Get out of my house.
I mean, he's in his robe.
Jenny, call the authorities.
I know, it's so terribly
After
played.
I punch him in his face. I have a problem here, though. I want to know, is this the approved route to go pick up Jeff across the train, through the ravine, with a pit stop in Dagobah? Like, I don't understand.
Wait. You lost me. What?
When they're like, Davey, go check on Jeff. Make sure he gets home safe.
Meet him halfway. Why is he going through?
Yeah, it's like it's a trip through Dagobah, and it's like there's no. They drove there on a road.
But see, I think this is the Florida thing. You never took cuts through the woods.
Oh heck yeah!
Well, yeah, but it doesn't seem like you'd need to.
I don't
know.
Okay, so they finally take David to the scientists. Get David to come. They want to basically, scan him and poke him and prod him and all that. So, I
thought that was Alf's dad, by the way, but that is not Alf's dad.
No, that's not Alf's dad.
I looked it up.
Is there any universe in which you allow your child, without you present, to go to this facility and be locked up? There is? You would let your kid do that?
It's 1986.
That's true. They had better things to do probably at that point. So.
You just told us in Florida in the 1980s.
Yeah, you're right.
The parents were not
backtracking on all of that.
And this was NASA.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They hadn't even crashed Challenger yet.
That's right.
So
wait. I guess it would have crashed Challenger.
Yeah, it would have been 80.
Challenger was 86. Yeah, January of 86.
Right.
Yeah, it was right before.
So they knew NASA needed a win.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. That's right. We're willing to give it to you, man. So Ralph is the robot that comes into his room, by which he also.
Did you not see that setup the moment Ralph rolled in?
Tell you, well, that is the perhaps worst escape plan I've ever seen. It's so bad. It's so bad. And nobody knows like that he went in the cart.
Yeah.
But then I noticed that Ralph, when he's leaving, that Ralph is just driving down the street like a vehicle in the road. He is blocking traffic.
So many problems with the Ralph scene.
Ralph is like a social butterfly. He is like talking to everyone. He drives up to the security guy, the gate guy, the pizza guy. He's talking to everybody. Like, hey, it's Ralph.
He's the epitome, right? He's the epitome of a guilty person, right? When they're guilty, they just want to. You're like, hey, well, oh yeah, everything's great. Don't even
nothing
look over
to see here, folks.
But he takes. Okay, so here's my question. But Ralph takes David right to the ship. What is that? What did he program it, or is he just riding along till it gets there? Is that
well? I can capture your entire thought in my 2-word note on Ralph.
All right, give it to me.
Ralph sucks.
It's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. Ralph.
It had a mail slot on the front.
Yeah, what is that?
Is that to deliver the mail? Is that like,
dude? That thing is a piece of garbage. It is so. Like when he opens the side door, it's like a piece of cardboard, like folded in half, like your science project backing. Yeah, it's terrible. Anyway, so it drives him right to the ship. And not only does it drive him right to the ship, where is security at all? The kid gets out and is walking around with the spaceship, which to this point, there's been 30 scientists around it every time we've seen it, but no one is there conveniently when Ralph shows up and drops David off right there.
They just weren't paying attention. They do like look at a monitor, right?
They eventually do. He walks around for like 5 minutes and then they go, oh, wait, there's a kid in there.
Like Parcheesi or something. I mean,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
You're skipping in your discussion about Ralph. In your discussion about Ralph, you're skipping over Sarah Jessica Parker.
No, I was going to get to her too. Go ahead, give your thoughts on that.
Carolyn,
probably the best thing about this movie.
Are you joking? She's terrible. She is a terrible actress. Are you kidding? Are you being serious?
I'm just kidding. No, but I didn't realize she was actually ever cute, and she was apparently in 1986.
Oh my gosh, she is awful. I think she is a terribly overrated actress from day one.
Sure.
She's lousy. No.
So by the way, every time Ralph comes in the room, she brings Ralph with her. She opens the side of Ralph. At the very first time we see Ralph, she opens the side. She takes something out. Yes. This is the first time David's just walked into the room.
Yep.
And she puts something back in to Ralph.
Yeah.
He has consumed no food. He hasn't had time to eat the tray you just took out.
She's taking some of those free toys, that free swag he got.
Oh yeah, he got a lot of free swag.
Was awesome.
Dude, I look. I'm not even gonna lie. I went to eBay to try and find one I was gonna wear for the show. I could not find it.
I would have. So. It was like dented in the front, like it didn't even keep its shape because it was so cheap. It was like satin.
Oh my gosh,
gold embroidered satin hat.
Oh, that gold, man.
Good.
So David gets into the whatever ship.
Yes.
Max, whatever.
And what did Ralph stand for?
I was like. Rolling assisted living
facilitator
or something. I don't know. Robotic assisted living facilitator. Ralph. So David gets in. This was the one scene that I thought was good. That I was like, oh, that's pretty clever. He says, let's go 20 miles.
Straight up.
And he goes straight up. I thought that was clever. And he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, I'm going 20 miles. Like, I didn't mean straight up. I meant, whatever.
It did capture the fact that aliens think spatially different.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Humans. He wasn't thinking, horizontally.
So that's a check box for Chris.
There you go,
buddy. This movie was thinking about things.
See?
Yeah. Yeah.
Way ahead of its time is what you're saying. I got it.
And keep in mind, I didn't think this movie was terrible yet. But in the ship, we meet some creatures.
Jim Henson's crew.
We meet the Jim Henson puppet factory.
Yeah, you can't have a sci-fi movie without a few aliens. Come on.
Bro, listen.
Didn't need them.
Listen. Yeah, number one, you didn't need them. It totally took me out of the vibe. But one thought that crossed my mind is Max warns David, these are ferocious creatures. They will eat you. Like, do they seem ill-contained to you? Like there's no...
It would be like going to the zoo and there being a lion in a 4-foot glass container, but above that, just nothing.
Like,
over it.
It's ridiculous. Why
haven't they eaten one another yet?
Maybe, right, exactly. Maybe I don't get that.
Or what are they eating?
Yeah.
Dude, did either of you think when that slimy snake slug booger looking thing?
Oh,
which first of all, the Phalanite Max is like, it has a cold. That's
how do you know that? Thing. What does that even mean?
But
Chris must have loved that scene.
Were either of you expecting that to sneeze on David?
I thought a slime shot was coming for sure.
We were getting a face slime.
Oh yeah. Didn't happen. Missed opportunity.
This whole sequence you're talking about just reminded me of Doctor Who.
Oh my goodness, another thing I hate.
Oh man, see, I love that.
Another thing I hate, he says.
Oh, you're the worst.
Thank you.
All right, keep going, Donald.
So there's they're flying around, and Max and David start having a conversation about life or whatever. And at one point, sorry. The computer says, David says something like, yo, you've never done that? And he says, how many times have you ever done that? And the computer says 0. And David goes, never? It's like, let me do some math for you, buddy.
Said 0.
0 is equal to never. Like, you speak English? Yes. Anyway, Beach Boys. Seems an odd choice for a kid that was in the late 70s. Yeah. Beach Boys were not exactly at the height of popularity at that point.
I actually Googled that song because I was like, maybe it was popular in 1978, and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
That song released in 1964.
Yeah. How about a little something from the disco era? Maybe that might.
He said he went to a Bee Gees concert.
Right. Yeah. How about a little Dancing Queen, something like that?
They probably had to, they probably was like, okay, well, what can we get for $200?
They probably already owned the catalog. We already got the catalog. Go to the Beach Boys song. We spent all of our budget on stock footage.
Exactly.
Cheap songs.
The stock footage is rough.
Literally, you could remake this movie today with an iStock photo subscription in your iPhone.
That's probably true.
Yeah, no doubt. Your iPhone.
And you'd be like, man, this movie is amazing. It's like, I know. It cost them $3 million.
Phil, you brought it up earlier. So he gets home eventually, which is a whole weird thing too. Why is he in such a rush to get home? It's not like the government, he knows the government's going to come looking for him. And it seemed weird. Like, I'm really trying to get home, but I know they're coming anyway. Like, what is he hoping to accomplish? I don't really understand.
I don't think he knew that.
I don't think so.
No. Listen, I will say I get the concept of while he is a navigator, he doesn't know anything about how to get down the road. They make that very clear. But the whole just being lost and going around in circles around the globe was a little bit of a tiring trope. It was like for just no purpose. But I will say when they get to what they say looks like Texas, but I don't even know what that means. They say, let's head east. And so they head east. And then the next stock shot we get is them driving through the Grand Canyon singing the Beach Boys. Yeah. Which is not east of Texas, just in case you're wondering.
Also, Beach Boys.
Great. I didn't even pick up on that. Wow.
Jeez. Somebody open a geography book, man. So Phil brought it up earlier. He gets home and he has to make a decision, right?
Yes.
Do you want to go
I want to talk about the gas station. Probably the best scene in the movie.
Was it? Okay. Go ahead.
The gas station with the gas station attendant being completely dead-faced at the ship. But I just love the kids. The kids are all like pushed on those steps. And they're like, oh, it's just
it kind of moves. But
your Indian village won't win any awards, but that spacecraft is top notch.
Yeah, that.
I just love. I thought that was a good line.
Did you love that? Man,
I thought that captured 80s highway Florida travel pretty well.
No, that did. Sure.
I did feel like it was a little discriminatory to Floridians. Or was that a Texan?
No, they were.
I don't even know. I don't even know where they were.
The Gator Shack or whatever.
I assume they were on Earth somewhere.
The only thing missing from this movie was an actual shot of a gator. They're in Florida for the whole movie, and we see not one actual alligator.
Right.
Not even a fake stuffed 12-footer in front of a gas station.
Right. Or one in his collection of dangerous creatures, uncaged dangerous creatures.
It was called the Gator Shop or Gator Shack or something.
Yeah, well, it did have gators.
Yeah.
Flight of the Alligator. Totally different movie.
So he makes is that it on the gas station?
Yeah, I love.
Chris wanted to stop.
It was okay. I mean, it was kind of.
I do find problem. Like the funny thing about this movie is they don't do anything to hide the fact that there was a spacecraft loose in the world, right?
Yeah,
everybody sees
it. That's not like we have a test aircraft out. No, they're just like everybody's tracking Tokyo.
Yeah, that was unusual for a movie for sure.
But this does raise the time travel question. When they take Davy back to his 1978 time, does the knowledge of everything that transpired later did that happen?
No, it disappeared. It never happened.
Him or for his family?
It obviously happened for him because he remembers it.
Okay, he does, doesn't
but for his family.
No, no. It's a race. They I don't know.
See, so
let's
Chris,
not get into the time travel
with
thing.
Your multiple realities.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. You guys did that.
Neither did the makers of this movie.
No, they did not. I thought that's one thing I did like about it was simple. They were like, "Hey, light speed. They aged. You didn't. That's it. We don't care about anything else."
Back to the family. One choice.
No kid makes that choice, though. In my opinion.
To go
that
back
kid,
time?
No way. No kid, no 12-year-old kid's gonna be like, I'm gonna go back in time and take a chance on dying.
The two options before him were
that's what the
original time or death.
Yeah, Max tells him, he says, "I've never done that. I don't think I can do it. You could die or
something."
Do
you honestly not think that a better ending scene is where Max says, "David, I cannot ensure your safety if we return you back to your original time. However, I would enjoy a companion on my journeys.
It becomes
I need your star map.
That'd be great
to complete my mission."
That'd be great. I'd love
and
that.
David's like, "My parents have already lived without me for 8 years because they think I'm dead.
Dude,
can you erase my memory from their, or whatever? I don't know.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, so take away the pain of losing me or whatever. Yeah.
I'll go you like one better. Like, what if the actual ship itself has a mission that it cannot carry out without the Navigator now?
Yeah, and give me some tension.
Separable. And so Max is actually
we got to save this planet, and you're a critical part of that.
It's like you're thinking small fries here, but the universe is at stake. I need your help to save.
Yeah, it's called The Last
Starfighter. I was just thinking that. You stole my line, man. I was going to say that.
Never saw that.
You saw it. You've seen The Last Starfighter.
Great.
You said you hated it. It's a good movie.
Guy plays video game. He breaks the high score. He goes on to become
Phil, that's a great ending. Seriously, that would be a great ending to a very mediocre film.
I agree.
Yeah, because then you would have been like, "Oh, okay, we explored some tension." There's zero tension.
Kid makes a tough call. Yeah. So
he didn't make a tough call. You're right. It's like he didn't make a tough call. He made the easy call. I'm going to go back in time and be myself.
Yeah. No, Johnny's saying that he doesn't. Right, Johnny, you're saying that he stays.
I'm saying he doesn't. in real life,
Donnie's saying he should go. Donnie's saying he would never have made that call.
He would never have gone back in that ship
with the gnome.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's home with his parents. So lose the 8 years, whatever. He's staying with his family.
Yeah.
But I think it is a great ending if they're going to say, well, the kid makes this heroic decision, for it to be that decision, not, oh, get my 8 years back.
Yeah.
So, on that, did they ever fire on the ship in this movie? Like, there was no scenes of like airplanes or fighter jets.
Couldn't shoot a gun in a kid's movie.
Yeah. Well, no, didn't they have guns whenever they
had it? Oh, yeah. It was a goofy scene. Dude comes running.
Did they shoot at it?
I don't think they
did. They just held guns against it. They never
usually in your alien invasion type movies, you have like a couple of fighter jets called out to.
No, they tried to follow it with helicopters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then he just split.
So I have a problem with that. So when he takes off from NASA at like light speed or whatever, Mach 10, it blows the top off of the shack. You recall this? Like,
I do.
The roof blows off. Nice little special effect shot there.
Super.
When he goes to the field and he takes a whiz and he gets back in and they take off at Mach whatever again, why didn't the cows explode?
Oh man, that would have been amazing though.
That would have been amazing.
Exploding cows would
blow their leather skin right off. Yeah. Why is there a pee scene in this movie? It seems odd.
He had to go to the bathroom.
I know, but it seems out of place. But I mean,
I feel like they held on to it too long. They literally got out and peed. It was like, we couldn't have implied
phrasing. So yeah, they did stay on that way too long in that him standing in that bush there going.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So the time travel scene takes place.
Yep.
And it's horrifying. Like if you remember the creatures in the ship, they're like demonic looking. They're all like freaking out, man.
It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It was just like that.
Max has like a blood tornado going on inside of his eyeball.
Yes. Yeah. That scene is Spooksville, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty intense.
Another question: how long does that little critter that he brings home last around Bruiser? I'm guessing a night, maybe.
I mean,
maybe not.
The bigger question is, what does it eat, and how is it gonna feed it?
Yeah. What
are you going to do if it turns out these things can live like 10,000 years
and grow,
or that it's a vampire or something?
Right. Like you just exacted this thing upon Earth. With no knowledge of it. It's like, it's adorable. Yeah. And so was that cat in Captain Marvel. And it turns out it can eat universes.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Why is it here?
Those are my thoughts, except for the telescope scene, Phil. So what else you guys got? What do you guys got?
Well, it's all you, man.
You can't open a cop car door from the inside.
No, you cannot. I saw that too.
Can't happen. I'm not sure how this nurse at the hospital became so familiar with alpha waves.
I don't remember that.
When they're like studying his brain at the hospital.
Oh,
it's a regular hospital. Like I've been to Shands. I've been in regular hospitals.
Never once.
Nobody there. No, and nobody has a thing that goes on my brain that can read things. It just.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
The technology. We cannot share medical files today over the internet. And yet somehow these doctors knew to contact NASA.
Yeah, NASA, hello. NASA.
They were like, hey, this weird shape showed up on our computer screen. Don't you guys have one of those?
There's some alpha rays coming off the skin.
Yeah, this kid's alpha waves. They told us to call you. What a coincidence.
Are these the reasons why this movie can't get made that you're doing right now?
No, I'm just.
Okay.
Am I supposed to go over my reasons?
Oh, no. I mean,
I thought that's what you were doing. I didn't know.
Just making my own personal observation.
Okay.
I like how the scientists at NASA called the remote control a remote control wand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I noted that tech content never holds up.
No, ever. A year and you're done. It's like, oh, what is that?
Yeah. I want to know if that's a real music video that David's watching. I didn't get a chance to look it up.
I believe that it was. And imagine being dropped into the 80s MTV culture.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's pretty
cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was able to leverage, at least I don't have purple hair, as an insult.
Yeah. Of course, he did come out of a disco's late 70s, too.
She acted like she didn't know what he was talking about until she saw herself in the mirror. At least I don't have purple hair. And she's like,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was so
sister.
drunk last night, I forgot.
Right, that's the implication. I was so jacked up on LSD last night at the Twisted Sister concert, I didn't realize my hair was purple.
Hey, I can answer. That is a true. It is a real video. It's called "Lose Your Love" by Blockmange.
Awesome.
Never heard of it.
Non-band that was looking for some airplay, and they were like, "Dude,
it's an English synth pop duo."
Again, budget.
Right. Right.
What music video could we get for this movie?
They put out a call to some reps, and they're like, "Listen, does anybody represent a band that would let us show their music video for free for a little extra screen time?" And they're like,
Hey, boss, I know a guy. He's my brother-in-law. He's trying to start a little band in the garage.
Exactly. Blockmange brought to you by LaCroix.
Blockmange.
Jeff stole David's thunder, training Bruiser to catch frisbees.
Oh, I know. That was painful.
Like
brutal, man.
Back 8 years later, and Jeff's like, "Check it out. Me and Bruiser are like in sync. We won state.
We have replaced you rapidly."
Right. Yeah. And Bruiser doesn't even. There's no scene in this movie where Bruiser's like, "Oh, David."
Right. There's no connection with the boy and the dog at all.
I will say, even talking about this together, Phil, I totally agree that it feels like the world has moved on without him, which would make a perfect ending. Him realizing that he doesn't belong anymore.
Right. He's like, "Dude, these people are fine without me.
Nobody wanted me. Max needs me."
The greater good. You need to sacrifice. Now you have a messianic character, at least.
Yeah.
Sacrifices himself for the greater good. Nobody is suspicious of Ralph just roaming around. Nobody ever stops and goes, "Hey."
I think it's so stupid.
I've been working here for 6 years. Never seen him come by here, but I'm sure it's fun.
Right. Nobody calls and goes, "Ralph's on the loose again." Like,
hey guys, you know that robot thing that's big enough to hold a person in that could ride around on its own? Yeah, it just went by here into the top secret security area. Don't make that call. Don't make that call.
You're super busy looking for a lost kid, but
it's possible.
When you're done with that, you may want to come check out Ralph.
I don't know why Ralph has to be so big.
Oh, it's so terrible
to deliver trays.
He doesn't. He has to fit a kid inside.
So bad.
Yeah.
So
I don't know where Jeff got fireworks that are so bright that you can shoot them from your house that they light up.
Over the skyline of the city,
skyline of Fort Lauderdale,
downtown.
I did like that he had
neighborhood.
I did like that two of them crapped out. I have to imagine that happened.
It did happen. It had to happen.
Like the actor lit it and it went. He's like, "Ah, crap! Keep going, keep filming.
Who
keep
bought
rolling.
these cheap fireworks?"
The director's like, "Roll, just
keep going." Eventually, one will either light or explode in your hand. Just keep going.
Go. We've got this stock footage of one blowing up. Don't worry about that. We got to get it to go straight up.
Oh man, that is bad. A flare gun would have been a better idea. You have a boat. You probably have a flare gun in the boat. Just do that.
Good.
Yeah. Speaking of that boat, at the end of the movie, David shows up. He fell down a ravine. He was knocked out. He apparently took a little longer to come back than they were expecting. She's like, and they're about to leave. They're like headed to dinner. They're like, "Oh, we gotta go get some
They're
burgers."
Leaving him out, dude.
I guess David, he got lost in the woods, but we're hungry.
He'll be fine.
Even further proof that he just needs to move on.
That should have been the moment. The realization was like, I made the wrong choice.
Yeah, these people don't care about me.
No, that would have been an awesome ending. Would have been like him going, "Dude, totally bad choice."
Yeah. So think about this. Think about this in all sincerity. You have multiple children. If you sent one of them into the woods at night and you said, "Go check on Jeff," and he's like, "Okay," and then Jeff comes back He's like, I didn't see David.
As a parent, I know that Jeff is a giant jerk, so I know that he's going to cause problems. Sure.
And then you're like, okay, well, we'll go grab some dinner. Maybe he'll be home when we get back.
No biggie. I mean, and the kid actually went to the place that he saw David at. It wasn't like he was looking around. He's like, oh yeah, I know where he was at in this place, and he's not there anymore. But it's okay.
It'll be fine.
Don't worry about it.
It'll be fine.
He'll make his way.
And the final credit sequence.
Man, this movie would have been so much better with your ending, Phil.
I know.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Maybe we could get LaCroix to fund a rewrite.
Maybe. LaCroix. Come on, LaCroix.
The credit sequence at the end of this movie sounds and look like an after-school special.
Yes, it's not good.
The
music overall is not good.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. It looked like the way a sitcom ended in the 80s. Like it looked like the end of Saved by the Bell.
That's true. This really felt like a made-for-TV movie, if we're being honest. Okay, Phil,
it's about time you were.
Let's do.
All right.
Let's do your segment.
All right, I'll give you a few. I'll give you a few reasons why this movie doesn't get made today. My segment, right?
What's up?
First one happens within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
And that is the use of the word retarded.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
That's right.
Jeff says that David's dog is retarded because it can't catch a frisbee.
Yep. Can't say that.
That is a Disney movie.
Oh, everyone talk like that.
I know it's the 80s, but it's there is no way. Like, first of all, that just you couldn't.
No.
So there's that one. I have 10, but some of them are tongue in cheek, so I'm only going to stick to a few of the real ones. Number 2 is that you can't hang out the back of a station wagon like that.
Oh no more.
No, I think you still can in Florida.
Maybe, but here's number 3 on my list, and this goes. Donnie, you get to speak here.
All right.
David's a total peeve, man. He's a peeping Tom.
Yeah, he is.
He's got his telescope trained on that girl. I thought, by the way, another plot thing should have been the girl that he was making eyes at. Should have been the girl working at NASA.
Yeah, Carolyn. Yeah, totally agree.
And that would have fed his reason for going back, because it's like, man, everything's gone on without me.
Yeah.
And it was
David is 12. Mm-hmm. I think we established that at some point in the movie.
Yes, because he should have been 20.
David is just a curious teenage boy. He's looking through a telescope. That's normal.
Sure.
David is not the perv.
The dad. Exactly.
David gets up and leaves the room, and the dad is still sitting on the bed for a weirdly long amount of time after David is gone from the room.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember the scene?
Yeah.
It's like a 5-second scene of the dad sitting on the bed by himself. Yeah. David's gone. He's kind of looking over at the telescope like,
my boy.
Maybe I should go, I don't know, check it out. It's a weird scene.
He should have pulled out like a Pabst Blue Ribbon and been like, it's my boy.
It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable scene. Carry on.
It's not good. It's not good. It's just not. David is growing up to be a sexual predator.
Yeah.
In the woods, this would never make it into the movie today.
Hang on a second. Hang on. I got to lower my rating. Go ahead. Keep it.
In the woods, when David thinks he's being stalked, he uses a threat of gun violence.
He does.
I've got a gun.
I was taken aback by that.
Again,
I was surprised.
That's Florida today, though. Florida's the Wild West when it comes to gun laws. But there's no way a child gets to
yeah.
I felt like there was a flippant treatment of potential mental illness in this movie. David might be crazy, but everybody's just like, man, maybe you're crazy. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm schizophrenic. Maybe Paxil would help, but instead you've locked me to this bed and put things on my brain.
They lock him in the room, by the way, when he goes to NASA.
Oh, yeah.
That seems odd to me. It's like, why are you locking this kid down?
Yeah.
Like, he's just a kid. Let him roam around the house or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe make him feel like less of a prisoner.
Right.
And he won't try to escape.
first thing they do is lock the door.
Maybe
It's
he
like,
won't climb into Ralph at the first sign of trouble if you let him feel like, I don't know, maybe hire a few other kid actors to hang out with him like this is a normal school.
Exactly.
I felt like there was a tinge of Sarah Jessica Parker pedophilia in this movie.
She was a little creepy.
She's like, you're cute. It's like, you're 20.
Did I mention that she's a lousy actress?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I said that.
But there was a little bit of like, this movie played on that like 1980s. There's no such thing as like reverse pedophilia. Like no matter how young you are as a male, like sexual victory is celebrated.
Yeah.
And so it was like, let's play to David's fantasies about this older girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're really cute. Has anybody ever told you that? And it's like, settle down. He's a child.
Leave me alone, lady. I'm only 12.
I know. It's like,
jeez,
please don't hurt me. I just want food from Ralph. Never gets his Big Mac, by the way. I just want to go on record.
That is true. Yeah.
Just give him my Ralph food.
He never got his Big Mac. I have 3 more. Token Black people, token Asian people, token Floridian people.
There was a lot of token people in this movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen a group of people so interested in The Price is Right ever.
You've clearly never been to a nursing home.
These people are sitting on the couch. The cops have all migrated from the dining room to the couch, and they're like waiting for the end of the episode.
Oh my God.
Enough that Jeff was able to sneak out of the house. And when he flies over Japan, and all of those people are like,
as if Japanese people known for their tourism and taking pictures would carry cameras around Tokyo to take pictures.
Yeah,
right.
They always have the cameras.
This is not a part of their tourism. This is their life.
It's just a hobby, man. They're just always doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the treatment of Asian people in movies in general is usually pretty like token.
I forgot about that camera scene though. I thought that too. I was like, oh my gosh, it
was awful.
Totally buying
like
into that stereotype.
Total green screen too.
Oh, it was bad. That green screen was bad.
Yeah, it was great.
And so
that's good. Good stuff, man.
I love it. All right. Yeah. So
I didn't say this one. It was on the list. I felt like there was a bit of robot slavery / discrimination with Ralph. He was treated as nothing but a slave to mankind's will.
Maybe that's why
as a
wild.
That's
free. Like, I'm out of here. Freedom.
Oh, here's a better movie. Ralph goes to Max and is like, dude, hook me up. I'll go with you. I'll be the navigator. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I will free you. Let's go.
Well, you're under the assumption that Ralph is little more than a glorified radio flyer wagon.
Yeah. Ralph doesn't really
pretty much.
That's all Ralph is. The wheels and all. It's like, oh.
I'm convinced that R in Ralph stands for something that you mentioned a minute ago. So I think it's... Carry on.
Right. So here we are. I was joking before we started and said that we should do two episodes.
Oh no, we've gone so long.
This movie, we've talked longer than this movie ran.
I didn't know how much you guys really loved this movie, so I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation.
This movie should be on an episode of how was it made.
Oh, this is great.
So if those guys happen to be watching,
thank God it was short though. Seriously, at least it was short.
Oh, dude, when I went to Plex. Can I say that on here? When I went to Plex,
too late.
I was like, "Oh, sweet! It's only 90 minutes. Good."
Right? Exactly.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, we review the movies that we watch on the show each and every week to close out the show. So I will start first, and I would give Flight of the Navigator a Phase 3 maneuver, which is I'm pretty sure the best you can get.
Out of how many phases? That's my question.
Right. I have no idea.
Phase 10.
I don't know. Phase 10 is a great game, by the way, but all we know about is Phase 3, so that's what you got.
All right, Donnie. Phase 10? That surprises me.
Phase 10 is good, man. All right, Donnie, coming over to you. How would you
I actually literally changed my rating while we spoke. I crossed out the old number. I'm going to give this movie 43 scuzz buckets.
That's a good 80s word.
Dude, I love that word. I said it all the time.
Yeah.
Scuzz bucket.
Jeff, by the way, his wardrobe in 1986 was on point.
He basically looked like Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Donnie I think my dad had that shirt.
Oh, gosh.
Florida man.
Dude.
All right, Bill, how about you? I know you love this movie, so what's up?
Oh my gosh. Oh man. How do I rate this movie? I'm gonna give this movie 1/2 of a.
If you say a LaCroix can, I'm gonna cry right now.
I'm gonna give it 1/2 of an alien whose world has been destroyed and will now come to Earth to destroy Earth.
Oh, the little vampire
That
guy.
thing was terrible.
All right, listen, guys. We appreciate you sticking around. It's a little bit of a longer episode, which is not surprising because we have tackled what some would call the penultimate movie of all time.
We didn't even talk about time travel.
I mean, we did talk about time travel. That was how we started. We started with time travel.
We didn't talk about time travel because this movie didn't talk about time travel.
Oh, I hate you all. All right, guys, that is our show. We are glad that you joined us. We hope you liked it. Listen, do me a favor. If you like Fly the Navigator, let us know. Just comment down below wherever you're listening to this or watching this, and just tell these dummies Fly the Navigator is awesome. I would appreciate that. You can find us on your podcast.
Everyone else.
And on YouTube. No. That's it for Donnie and Phil.
Yep.
We will see you guys. How about this? Later, Navigator.